Awesome. All right.
Hey, Julia.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Speaking with KPeasey. We got one of my favorite families with us tonight, the Gouteix, Pascal and Kelly, and their lovely, adorable daughter, Julia, aka Juju. And we got Jeremy in the background, so he'll come on in a minute and say hello. I'm going to turn it over to my brother. So take it away for him.
Well, thank you guys all for doing this. This has really been a lot of fun for us. I know it's certainly things look a little bit different from the first one. I think at the first one, everybody was sheltering in place. And so just the extra layer of social interaction was just something special. But really for us, it's turned into a fun conversation with some of the families that have meant so much to us and have done so much with the foundation and really made the Kyle Pease Foundation what it is. The Gouteix family, I'll let them tell a little bit more, but we were introduced to them almost at the last minute. I got a text message asking if I could get on the phone and to jump on a radio show, the Burt Show, for some of you that might know it, because there was a father that was getting ready to do a triathlon through the help of another foundation, Fragile Kids. But Kelly, Pascal, I'll let you guys maybe tell a little bit more. And Kelly, I'd love to hear actually the whole story, because a lot of people are not aware of that, of how you got onto the show, which then created the opportunity for us to meet you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's one of those things where everybody says, I never do this kind of thing, but I really never do that kind of thing. I happened to be driving to work one day and I overheard, they were talking about on the Burt Show about a contest where they wanted to honor an exceptional father. And I think maybe 2 weeks before that, our oldest daughter, Emily, who's not here, had done a triathlon, and I'm drawing a blank on their names, but there were two young boys that are maybe like 12 and 14 that were doing a triathlon together. And Pascal started thinking, I'd really love to do something like that with Julia. Somehow at the time, you guys were just getting started. So in our research, we didn't come across you, but I wrote into the Burt Show and said, hey, we've just moved into this new house. Timing isn't right for us to make the investment in the new equipment. I'd love for that to be Pascal's Father's Day present. Sent an email off at 9 o'clock at night, never expected to hear anything. And my phone rang the next day. So we talk about all the time, we went down there and obviously they gifted Pascal with the equipment, but really the best part of it was the introduction to you guys that we got on, sort of at the end of our segment that day.
Yeah, so I got, like I said, I got a text message at 7 in the morning that was like, we're having this family on in an hour and a half. Can you be there?
Literally.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize it was that
Jeff Dollar, who was on the show at the time. Mm-hmm. And so, and we were still in this mode, and we shared this, with Amy when she was on with the Vincents. And it was, we were just kind of in this mode of growth, and we talked about it. I know some of the folks were on here as we were just kind of prepping with you guys, but, we were still in this mode of, we were just trying to grow this thing. And so every interaction that we had, whether it was a phone call or an email exchange, was the most important one that we make. And I hope that Kyle and I still carry that over. We have a lot of people to help us do that. But for those that don't know you, I do want to also take it back to the beginning, and we'll come back to the triathlon. If you guys are comfortable and can share this and Julia's story for those that aren't aware, because the triathlon was obviously not the first adventure for her or for your family.
Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
The triathlon was not wet or anything?
No, just sort of Julia, who Julia is, I'll do it. Okay. So Julia was a 28-week preemie. So she was born, I had severe preeclampsia. So she came much earlier than expected. She was our third and final little princess. Of course, Jeremy keeping us balanced as a boy. But anyway, so she was born at 28 weeks. She had a lot of complications after her birth, including necrotizing enterocolitis and things like that. She spent over 4 months in the NICU. So a long time for her to come home, multiple surgeries, lots of breathing assistance needed for some time. She's, as a result of her illness and some of the complications at birth, she had a severe brain bleed. So she actually is nothing that happened while I was pregnant with her. It all happened after she was born. But as a result, she's in a wheelchair. She's nonverbal. She's non-mobile. She doesn't eat by mouth. But she is just so full of life and spunk in a way that we never really expected. So.
And as I once said on the website, she helps us, she helps me go through the finish line. So through all the races that we've done together, she's been a great support for us. And she has enabled us to meet with you guys. So.
No, absolutely. You guys have a wonderful family and a very special daughter. So we started talking about this a little bit off air, if you will, as well, but we actually came over to have dinner with you guys. And so, we had met the Vincent family, and, Jake was one of the first, one of the first kids with a disability that Kyle and I really interacted with, where we had to really, learn from the families and see where the life was. And so we already had those lessons from Amy. And so when we came over, we instantly saw the connection y'all had with Julia, and that Emily and Jeremy had as well. And it was really special to see her face light up when one of you walked into the room. And then we got to see that at the triathlon. But I just remember sitting there at that dinner, and, it was special. And like I said, Kyle and I, we try to create that interaction in other ways. I mean, when you have 60 people at the Publix half marathon, it's not as easy to go sit down at a personal dinner like that. It's absolutely a fond memory, but we were exchanging information. We were talking about things that Kyle dealt with, that our family dealt with, the Smith family that was there. Was there anything special from the dinner that you guys remember, or am I doing a pretty good job?
No, you're doing a great job. I think the one thing that sticks out to me, and I was thinking about this earlier, was that when you guys left, I remember Erica going, "Well, you're stuck with us now. You'll never get rid of us." Yeah, and I think that's true. We're happy to be stuck with you, though. But no, I mean, I remember, so I think, I'm sorry, I keep doing all the talking, but I think one of the things that, that's been really beneficial for us as a family is that, I think it's easier for moms sometimes to, get in these support groups, whether they're online or in person, and there's sort of a combination of dealing with the challenges and dealing with the positive things. And I think it's harder for dads sometimes to find a connection to other families and things like that. And I think one of the things that was really helpful for Pascal at that dinner and going forward, just being able, for example, to connect with Greg and to see another dad that was really taking a hands-on approach. Because as you guys see it all the time, I mean, there's so many of these families when kids have special challenges, the fathers aren't always super involved. So I think it's been really nice, I think, starting from that dinner and going forward, to be able to have just.
Yeah, but before we met you guys and the foundation, I was trying to figure out how could I be more involved with my daughter? How can I help her move forward? And how can we move forward together with her? And that I didn't want to be part of one of those groups where you get together and you cry all the time. So when we got to know you guys, I thought, this is the way. This is how this is going to be moving forward, and doing it through sport. This was a fantastic way of us doing this. I never imagined, though, that I was going to do a triathlon with Julia. But thanks to Brent during that call on the Bird Show, put me on the spot, and said, well, in a month we have that triathlon.
Yeah, I think it was 6 weeks after that.
Yeah. Plenty of time.
I came home and this is no way. There's no way I can do that. But there we were. We did it, and that was what, 5 years ago? No, 5 years ago.
6 years ago.
6 years ago, you're right. Julia's turning 9. But 6 years ago, she was 3 years old when we did our first triathlon. So that's amazing. And since then, we've been racing with you guys, 5Ks, 10Ks, half full other triathlons. Just an amazing race together.
Kyle, you had something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Kelly, you and I have talked about this many times, but one of my personal goals is I want to get to know every family And
Mhm.
it's very hard for me at the big events because there's a lot of families, and I feel overwhelmed and get pulled in a lot of directions. But one thing that really stood out to me is Jeremy and Emily, just how much they love Juju, and I think that's a reflection of you guys,
Oh, thank you.
and it always inspires me. And I think, but can you pull that photograph up one more time? I think this picture is my favorite picture of Juju because it
Oh, I
shows
know.
it shows who she is,
Mhm.
and and just the way she looking at Pascal, just really really identified the father-daughter bond that they have. So you guys are a huge inspiration. Like Erica said, you are a part of the family. And you're stuck with us. And so I think another thing that really stood out to me is how you guys have embraced us and embraced our fellow athletes, and you jump right in. So if you could take it, if you had a race from Juju perspective, and I love her smile, but what do you feel when you see Juju racing?
I feel like she's the happiest girl because and then the reason why we started to race and to run actually is because when she came home from the hospital, she felt great going outside, feeling the wind on her face. So when she's racing with us, she's just sailing basically. She's sailing. Her sail is full of wind and she's moving forward. So that's how I experiment this with her. So
yeah, she always seems very relaxed and happy. As Kyle knows, I'm not always very relaxed and happy when she's in the water. He has to talk me down and offer me a glass of wine at 8 o'clock in the morning or something.
Yeah,
It stresses me out.
and we know how many glasses of wine they had together.
Yeah.
We can't talk about that, can we?
No.
I know. What, Kelly? My next question is, as a mom, and I'm always curious to hear this from a parent point of view. How is it on race day for you to be the soccer mom and get to mingle with the other parents and the other family members of KPF? What did that do for you?
I mean, I love it. It's so nice to be able to just kind of watch her do something that I don't have to be super hands-on with. It's, it's fun to cheer her on from the sidelines with the other moms because it does feel like a typical experience that I've had with my two big kids as well. So it's fun. I mean, I think it's a combination of seeing her so happy and getting to spend the time, especially when it's a triathlon or like a marathon where there's lots of, hurry up and wait between the different watching points. You really get to spend a lot of time with other family members as well. Like I've made so many good friends with the fellow moms that aren't racing, but are, watching from the sidelines with me. And I love that.
Not to take Naomi's thunder, who's not here, but we've loved having families share at our events. Pascal, you shared one year at Publix when we were still crowded into the small room at Gordon Biersch. But Naomi one year at Marine Corps, she actually talked about that she was always the one. In fact, when we first met her, she was always the one pushing Noah. And she shared this beautiful story of, coming to some of these events for the first time in her life as a parent. She felt like she was a soccer mom and she was excited to cut orange slices and just take pictures and scream her head off and be the weird mom yelling. And, it was a really special moment for us to hear that and think about it because there's so many of these things that happen organically through the foundation. We set out to help Julia. We weren't actually thinking about the parents. We set out to help Kyle. We weren't thinking about his brothers. You know, our aim was to improve the lives of people with disabilities through sports. And it's just happened that, you know, my life is so much richer from the experiences that I've had through the foundation. And, you know, we're hearing it from you guys as well. You did mention that you get nervous on the swim. And before I let you respond to that, I wanted to just ask how it's possible to get nervous before the swim when your husband is ready, like at all times.
I couldn't have teed you up better, right?
No, but
I think that's from
did,
the first race.
that is the very first race.
That was the first race, yeah.
But I did want to share that, and you were kind of saying it. And Pascal, I don't know if you've had similar experiences, you know, being out there with the other athletes, pushing her, you know, if that gave you that same, you know, you get to be an athlete all over again, and in a way that you haven't with your other two children, that you can share some of the, I don't know if there's a different experience as a father or just as an athlete that you've had as well.
Well, I mean, being with Julia as a father and racing with her reinforced definitely the connection that I have with her. As an athlete, I was not much of an athlete actually before. I was a little bit of a runner, but this definitely pushed me forward. And so the combination of the two made me a much better man, whether a father or an athlete, as a matter of fact, but especially a father. And actually, you know, since then, Emily and I and Jeremy and I actually have been racing together, together with the foundation. Emily and I did a couple of 5Ks, I remember. And Jeremy did his first half marathon this past winter together with Julia. So the whole family now is hooked.
I'm still not run.
Not kidding.
We're all runners.
Yeah.
So Emily and Jeremy wrote a book. I mean, I think Brett has a copy of that book. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the book and what the book means to you guys?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I remember after after Lauren Smith wrote her book, Jeremy immediately went up to Kyle and was like, I want to write a book. And so luckily it all worked out the following year that he and Emily got to do that together. So I think it was such a great experience for them to really think about, you know, how they viewed Julia and what, you know, it was really amazing to see that they, you know, working obviously with Todd, they found so many positive things to describe her, so many, you know, if you read the book, it has very little to do with her disabilities or with her challenges, but it's so much more about the spirit and her, you know, the fight that she brings, you know, to her own life, but also to our family life. So I think that's really been something cool to watch and to see. I think it gave them a real sense of pride and a sense of connection to the foundation in a way that they felt that obviously, you know, having been part of the foundation when we were still in that little tiny room at the brewery and, you know, then having an author's table at the bowling alley as the event's just grown has been really fun for them to see. But I do think that just gave them an additional level of connection and pride because they, you know, there are challenges that come with, being Julia's brother and sister, but there's, you know, so much that outweighs those challenges for them. And that book is, I think, a great example of that they definitely, you know, it just is kind of proof that they see more good than bad.
Yeah. You know, I mentioned this a few minutes ago, but for me personally, you know, I know we have all the bells and whistles, the mission, the vision statement for the foundation. But for me personally, my goal when I started KPF was for every athlete to smile when they cross the finish line. And Julia embodies that very well. And it really warmed my heart to see the gift that she has. And it's something that, you know, that I cherish. And, you know, I tell Brett all the time that, you know, if if a family or an athlete did not have a good experience, then we need to look at ourselves. And
Mhm.
I think Julia, really, really inspires people by who she is and what your family stands for. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
You didn't,
really,
you didn't know
she's so little in that.
I know.
Well, I tried to find some, as Pascal mentioned, you guys have actually made this a family affair. Jeremy doing his first half, and Emily having done a few 5Ks with you guys as well. I know, and Kyle kind of said it, and Kelly, you said it as well, just being siblings to such exceptional people can have its own challenges. And just like any kids, you want your moment with mom and dad. You want your chance to have that special experience with them. But, sharing these experiences together can also be powerful and special, because it's a nice reminder that, there's one of the arguments, in fact, we've made on behalf of your daughter, because you guys started racing when she was 3 years old, is, we would approach race directors that would say, well, we have an age limit of, 15 years old or 10 years old. And what we would always say to them is, well, you're talking about a child that can't play t-ball or soccer or all the things their brother and sister are doing. And this is one thing that we've figured out how to do. And our families and our parents are comfortable letting their child go through the rigors of a marathon. I mean, your daughter's done 2 marathons now, right? Is that right?
4.
4 marathons, not even close.
3 with me, actually. 3.
Yeah.
3 with you. Okay. So, but she's done these incredible things that, you couldn't have asked Jeremy or Emily to do that at 5 years old or 6 years old. But when Julia's 9, when she's 10, when she's 12, there's other experiences that she may be missing out on. And I know Kyle could certainly speak to some of the things that, we talked about it, of him sitting on the sidelines when I played football. Well, we were both on the sidelines together. I actually didn't play either, but there's those experiences. And so I know there's my finger in front of the picture here, but I love this photo of y'all at the Virginia Islands 5K that we used to always do together.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Emily and Jeremy are not standing there, although if Jeremy's nearby, we can let him pop his head in there. Have they ever shared with you guys? I know you talked about the book. Have they shared with you how special some of those experiences were, both personally or as a family?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, for both of them, I think it's a combination of they like doing something with Julia, but then and for Julia, but it's also, they get that time sort of with their dad and Julia, it's truly like a family activity when they're training for things like that. So we think that just like it's a way for Pascal to connect with Julia, it's also been a way for him to connect with Jeremy and Emily when they're in the middle of, training full on.
Yeah.
So Kelly, I don't know if you noticed, but every time y'all come to a race, and I'm racing, Pascal always says, "I'm gonna beat you," and so it's our little greeting now every time that we do a race.
Yeah, but I know I will never be.
I never say never. So I can think that like, I don't know, y'all are just amazing people, and just the rapport that you have with people like Justin and people like Curtis, and just how you have embraced what we do with the foundation. And I'm just very grateful for who you are and how you bring so much awareness to the foundation.
You're not half as grateful as we are to have you guys. That's for sure.
Thank you.
And
go ahead, Pascal.
one of the things that the main reason why we come is obviously Julia, but to your point, Kyle, it's important for us to also to connect with the other families, to the other athletes as well, because Julia obviously is a big part of it, but again, everybody else that's what makes the foundation. It's Julia and the others. So it's important that whenever we have a race or outside of a race, we connect with one another.
Well, and that's why you wanted to help, go up to DC when you weren't running,
exactly.
But go up and volunteer to help for a change. So
yeah, and that was actually seeing from the other side, it was very moving. Very, I loved that experience actually. So.
Was your favorite part walking all our equipment through the mud after the rain, or
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
was it using our hands to get all the mud off our chairs in the side of the street? Shauna, who was helping run logistics for us, just posted in the comments that Pascal was a rock star in DC. So we are getting close to wrapping here shortly. So if you guys do have questions, please feel free to post them in the comments, or we have a Q&A. If you have some questions for our wonderful panelists tonight. I did pull one photo that I would like to share of the family, because we've talked so much about your family and both your kids. If I can get it to go here, I'll pull that up if I can get it, but there we go. Nice, lovely family, all smiling. Facebook is a wonderful thing sometimes.
I was going to say, that's my profile picture, I think.
You guys, Mike Reagan said it maybe in 2018, and we've continued to use it, but we were at a race, and it was one of those where there was just, everything was going wrong, and people were coming up to us looking for equipment, and we couldn't find it, and it's just one of those days, and everybody was getting frazzled. And Mike finally looked at it. He said, these are our people, and it's the best thing that we do. And I think Kyle's hit on it, and I'll hit on it again. You guys are our people, and same with all the other families. And it's just, it's what makes this so special to share those experiences. And, we're lucky we got to do something special with you guys. We sat down to dinner. Our recruitment process with you guys was a dinner complete with wine and cheese, and we don't get to do that anymore.
It worked.
It worked, but now we have Kevin and Justin, as an extension of that process, that they can engage people and share that and share their experiences. And we're just proud of all you guys have done on the race course, off the race course, for Kyle, for me, and for everybody else.
Thank you, and we are definitely going to do it for many years to come, for sure.
Until you beat Kyle.
Yeah.
Then he's retiring.
Yes.
It's because he's not with you.
It's because I'm pushing him.
Yeah, I can't wait to be reunited with you guys and the foundation. This virus has been hard on all of us, but not seeing you guys and the rest of our KPeasey family is hard, but we know that we're gonna be better. And we will be reunited. Kelly, I will have a beverage for you. And
Perfect.
yes,
I won't say no.
yes.
So please, if you guys have some questions, please feel free to post them while we're letting people think if they have anything else they'd love to hear from you. Pascal, Kelly, are there any, kind of final thoughts of, or maybe what you could do if you don't have something, maybe you could just share that one piece of advice to the mom who's not sure about sending an email at 9 p.m. or to the dad who's wondering how to connect with their daughter or son. Something that you would share to the next KPeasey family.
Yeah, I mean, I think you never really know until you give it a shot, and I think you guys make it so easy for people to get involved on their level of comfort. Like I've seen, Pascal was, I think, on one end of the spectrum where he just dove right in, but then, like Matt Giost, who we've introduced you all to, has gotten, taking a slower start and going for short runs around the parking lot. And, really, so I think that, there's people who are interested in trying, there's really nothing to lose. I think you guys do such a good job of providing each family with a level of support and really recognizing that there's not a one size fits all approach to this.
Yeah. She said it.
That's great.
Thank you.
Well, y'all, thank you so much for doing this. This is, like I said, this has really been fun. Even if we're apart, it's fun to be able to share and think through. I loved going back to some of those original photos. I sent it to you guys, and we'll send it out, or we'll put it when we post it on YouTube. But the original story that was posted on the Burt Show's website, and actually the original blog, Pascal, that you helped us write with Kyle and Todd, I believe, from that original racing. So Thank you guys for doing this and sharing. We did post in there, of course, you can get Emily and Jeremy's book, Superheroes Come in All Shapes and Sizes, on our website, and hear that wonderful story. So I forgot that Jeremy had asked Kyle. So for all the other KPeasey families, now you know the trick. Just ask Kyle if you can write a book and he will make it happen. So
it helps if you're like a cute little 12-year-old boy when you do it.
Well, we're hopeful to all be together one day on the course again soon, talking trash about who's going to win, joking about who's buying the drink after the race, and just being together as one big KPeasey family. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We love you guys.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Love you too. Bye, guys.
We'll sit here for just a few
Bye.
minutes if not, but thank you guys again for all of those that have attended tonight and all of our Speaking with KPeasey. We'll do another one in 3 weeks. And thank you guys for taking time out of your night to be with us. Together we will.